Let me introduce you to the Medjool date, one of my very favorite dates. Hi, I'm Elise. I'm glad you stopped by. This is Medjool Dates. Look at the size of these dates. They are plump, super sweet, juicy, full of vitamins and minerals, fiber, great nutritional snack. Plus they taste fantastic. So I'm going to talk about the dates just a moment. I'm going to cut the seeds out. Later we'll go out and we'll plant the seeds, and I'll show you some seedlings from previous plantings. This date is extremely easy to germinate. Some dates aren't. Now it's in the genus Phoenix, and this one is Dactylifera. There's about 1,500 varieties of dates. Most of them, or the majority, are grown in Arabia. They have the most varieties of dates of anywhere. This particular date has about 12 to 19 species that are still growing wild. And there's anywhere from 200 to 400 in this particular genus. They can grow 60 to 80 feet tall with age. The only really drawback is they come in a male and a female, so you have to have two plants. And you really can't always tell the difference until they actually start blooming. They are so soft and so gooey, it's just like eating candy. Kind of a unique seed. Little hard seed. Excuse me. But they're easy to take the seeds out. And I've been eating these for a few days now because they're really, really good. So what I'm going to do with these is go ahead and put them in a container, and I'm going to freeze some, and some I'll leave out. My very favorite dish for this particular date is a salad with any green that I happen to have, a little feta cheese, some diced up dates, maybe a little chicken, little cherry tomatoes, some red onions, and some vinaigrette dressing. Oh my gosh, that is so good. But that's how easy it is to extract the seeds. These are larger and sweeter than most dates. They grow very well in zones 8 through 12. But from what I understand, you can actually grow them in a container, a big container, and then provide them with some winter shelter. I don't know. I grow mine outside. Easy, easy to cut up and get your seeds out. The seeds aren't going to hold their viability for a very, very long time, so I'm going to plant these as soon as I possibly can. But you can dice the dates, you can make a paste out of it. They're really good in salads and salsas and curries and stir fries. I mean, just let your imagination go wild. And they are extremely sweet, large, juicy, soft dates. Now, sometimes they'll have the little end of the stem. So if you're giving them to children, you might just want to fill the end first to make sure that that little end of the stem isn't there anymore. When you're buying your dates, if you want to save the seeds to grow, you'll have to get raw, unprocessed dates, and it will need to say on the bag, contains pits or contains seeds. Because lots of the dates you buy in the grocery store, the pits or seeds have already been taken out. See how fast that was? I'm going to wash my seeds really well, get all the goo off, dry them off a little bit, and then plant them. Since they are tropical, probably will be recalcitrant, which again, it won't hold the viability a long time. Well, that didn't take long. Now what do I talk about? So I have my dates here that I can save a couple out for the next couple of days, but then I'm going to freeze the rest. They do freeze very well. Here's all my little seeds. Now this little 1-pound bag had a couple of dozen in it, maybe more. I didn't stop and count them. Like I said, I've been eating them for a while. They are wonderful, delicious, very, very healthy. They're supposed to help your metabolism, supposed to help give you energy. There are medicinal properties associated with dates if you want to look that up. I'm going to share one little thing with you. I'm not too sure about this though. Since there is a problem with telling a male and a female seedling, this is from a publication, Seedling Emergence Pattern. Source Zango et al. From 2016. Got it off the internet. Determination of seedling stage. If the seed is sown under a straw mat and the seedling pushes the straw mat and emerges out straight, it's a male. If the seedling bends under the straw mat, it's a female. There are no scientific studies to support this means of gender identification. I wonder why. Anyway, what I am going to do is do a little experiment. I don't have a straw mat, but I do have some palm core. And after I plant my seedlings, I'm just going to put a little mulch on top of the palm core and see. But anyway, that's just one little thing to do that has come down through folklore. All right. Well, that didn't take long. I've got my dates made. You can again put these in practically anything because it's just like candy. They are wonderful. Very nutritious. Very medicinal. Please do your own research. So let's go outside and plant some seeds. It's time to plant the Medjool Dates seeds. I've already got some little pots prepared and I've got a little seed laid on top of each pot. I always like to lay my seeds in place first. That way I don't forget what pots I have put a seed in, and if I want to come back and add another seed, then I can adjust the placement. So these are ready to go in. I did a little more research on the date last night. Really interesting. Although these are mainly grown in tropical and subtropical areas, and some of the previous research said that they were recalcitrant seeds, now they're saying they might be intermediate seeds, which means they'll hold their viability much longer. And in fact, you can take them, cold chill them, and they may last for several years. So I'm planting half of my seeds today. The other half I'm going to dry really, really well, and I'll put them in a brown paper bag, label them, put them in the bottom of my refrigerator for cold chill. Not stratification. There is a difference in stratification and cold chill. And that will give me some seeds to plant out in next spring. I'm in Zone 9B. We're going into fall. I think we'll have enough time for these little seeds to germinate and establish root systems before we hit any cold weather. If not, I'll have to put them under some protection. I washed the seeds very, very well, got all of the date flesh off of them. And these seeds do germinate very easy. I laid them on their side, and now I'm just going to snug them in, about an inch. This is some very coarse but well-draining sand. It's a mixture, nothing special. And I was going to do the straw thing that I mentioned, where you put the straw on the top. If it's a male, it comes up straight. If it's a female, it doesn't. Well, I couldn't find my palm core that I thought I had, so I guessed I used it all. But I will come back and I'll put a little chop and drop on the top of these And that will serve as a mulch, a little fertilizer, and maybe it will serve the same purpose. You can grow the dates out for ornamentals, for just beautiful palm trees. Gives you this wonderful tropical look. But if you want fruit, you need a male and a female tree. It takes one male for every 100 females, and they do have to be in some sort of close proximity. The male will set long shafts of pollen, and the pollen is wind driven. So the wind blows all this pollen over onto the females. The problem is you can't really tell the male from the female. I know there's quite a few things online says, oh, look at the base, look at this, look at that. I'll go back and revisit all that again, but I haven't exactly been lucky about figuring out what is a male and what is a female. It takes 4, 6, 8 years for a seedling to grow up and start producing the flowers so that you could tell if it's male or female. And since there are so many varieties, each one's going to be a little different. I did a little more research trying to find out where they're from, and they still can't definitively pin down where dates are from. Now, they think the Medjool date is definitely from the Morocco area, but it's in Africa and Asia and Arabia and all the places like that, and has been around for so long. Did you read the article about the date they found that was over 2,000 years old, that had been hermetically sealed, and they were able to germinate it? It made the Guinness Book of World Records for being the oldest seed to germinate. It was a date seed. Not this variety, but it was a date seed. Okay, so that's all there is. I've got my label made, and I put 1 in parentheses, so that tells me I only put 1 seed per cell. Again, I laid them down on their side. I didn't worry about what's up or down. The stem will orientate to come up, the root will orientate to go down. I'm going to water these very well. They're going to go someplace warm, and I'm going to put my chop and drop on them, and probably a little fencing. I have a real problem with squirrels coming and digging up succulent seeds like this. So I'm going to move these out of the way. The Medjool date is one of the most popular dates and most eaten dates because, you know, it is big, it's sweet, it's juicy, it's like candy. And you can use it for all kinds of recipes and desserts. I want to try the one where you take the dates and stuff it with cream cheese and sprinkle a little grated nuts on top. I think that would be neat. Okay, I've already repotted a couple of my seedlings this morning. Let me pull this over because I want you to see how pretty this seedling is. Really nice. So I've already done a few. I have 1 more I'm going to do. And it is growing out of this little trade gallon pot. I'm putting it up into a 2-gallon size pot. First, I always check the root system to see if any of the roots have come out and got gnarled around. That would stop it from sliding out of the pot easy. And just slide it out. A little root bound. Look at that root system. Wow. Nice big roots. Now, I'm going to go in and take a little bit of this bottom root off. It won't hurt it. It doesn't have a defined taproot like some plants. And that way it will fit in the pot better. I can spread the roots out. Now, I could also go ahead and put this in the ground. And I have a couple more that I am saving to put into the ground. So what do I do with all of mine? Well, I use them for barter, for trade, for gifts, and every once in a while I have a little plant/yard sale. But these would be great if you wanted to grow them. If you have access to a farmer's market or anything like that, because they would sell really easy. Of course, you would either have to keep them long enough to determine the sex or grow them as, or sell them as ornamentals. All right, I have a pot prepared. Just going to dig out a little valley in there. I want to spread these roots out some. And I want to put this date just a little bit below the soil level. That way, if it rains, it won't wash the soil off. If we water it a little aggressively, it won't wash the soil off. Because if I put it up here and mound the soil up, then that soil could get washed away. If after a while I see that the roots are showing, I can always come back and backfill a little bit more. So it's that easy. Make sure all of your roots are covered. And I may have to go ahead and get some more soil to finish this up. I do press it down, not really hard, but enough to make sure it's secure. And I'm going to bring the soil up just to the base of the palm. And I will need to get some more soil, but that's okay. I'll do that in just a moment. I just wanted to share this with you. Medjool Dates. Great tasting, beautiful, sweet, nutritious dates. Very easy to grow. Unlike some dates that their seeds are a little challenging, Medjool Dates I've never had a problem with. So I have 10 in sales now. I'll have 10 or 12 in cold storage. In the springtime, I'll plant them out, or I'll save them. Now that they're saying, oh, they're going to last several years, I can save them again to another year. Isn't that neat? Aren't they pretty? Medjool Dates. Zones 8 through 10 is the recommended zone. I was told that you could grow them in containers. I don't know. In the ground, especially in a tropical, subtropical area, they can get, with age, 60 to 80 feet tall. So that's quite large. If I ever figure out definitively how to tell the male from the female, I'll come back and let you know. All right, I got to finish planting this. Water everything in really good. Now, for right now, these are going to go in indirect bright light until they have a couple of days to get over the transplant shock. I'm going to give them a light solution of Epsom salts, about a tablespoon per gallon of water. The Epsom salts has lots of magnesium in it. It will help them get over the stress of being potted. And I won't let them dry out for a while. Now that palms like to have their roots set in water, I'm sure there's some varieties that don't mind. But I want to keep these hydrated. I don't want them to go into stress because they're dry. But just lightly moist for a couple of days anyway to get over the shock. But pretty little palms, taste great. What else could you ask for? Well, I'd like to know what's male and what's female. Until we speak again, have a fantastic day.